Reading 1. Cinderella. Once upon a time, a girl named Cinderella lived with her loving father. When her mother passed away, her father thought she needed a new mother, so he remarried. Then one day, Cinderella's father suddenly passed away. She was left with her wicked stepmother, Lady Tremaine, and mean stepsisters, Anastasia and Drizella. The three were jealous of Cinderella's charm. Cinderella was treated horribly by her stepfamily. Yet, she always stayed kind and gentle. She had animal friends that she helped and fed. Her best friends were two mice, Jacques and Gus. One morning, the stepmother's mean cat tried to catch Gus, who hid under a cup. Cinderella didn't know about this and brought her stepfamily their breakfast. Minutes after breakfast was served, Cinderella heard a scream. Anastasia had found Gus under her cup. "You did it on purpose!" she yelled at Cinderella. Lady Tremaine called Cinderella and made her do a lot of chores as punishment. At the royal palace, the king was worried that his son wasn't married yet. "I want to see my grandchildren before I go," he said. The Grand Duke was told to invite all single ladies to a royal ball at the palace. Later that day, Cinderella stopped her chores to answer a knock at the door. A messenger of the king gave her an invitation. It was for the ball at the palace that very evening. Lady Tremaine grabbed the invitation and read it aloud. "I'm so eligible," her daughters said together. "That means I can go too," said Cinderella. "If you get all your work done and find something suitable to wear," Lady Tremaine sneered. In the attic, Cinderella found her mother's dress. It was old, but Cinderella could fix it and wear it to the ball. Suddenly, her stepfamily called. The poor girl sighed and left the attic. Cinderella finished all her chores and returned to the attic, to a wonderful surprise. Her animal friends had fixed up the dress. "Thank you so much," she said. Now she could go to the ball. The jealous stepsisters tore Cinderella's dress apart when they saw how beautiful she looked. Lady Tremaine just stood and watched. Cinderella lost all hope of going to the ball. She ran to the garden and cried. Suddenly, sparkling lights filled the air above her head, and her fairy godmother appeared. "Oh, come now, dry those tears," the fairy godmother said as she waved her magic wand. "But we'll have to hurry." A pumpkin turned into a fancy coach, and the mice turned into horses. Then she pointed her wand at Cinderella and said, "Bibbidi-bobbidi-boo." And all of a sudden, Cinderella was wearing a beautiful gown and sparkling glass slippers. As Cinderella left for the royal palace, her fairy godmother warned her to be home by midnight. The spell would only last until then. At the palace, each lady was called to come up and meet the prince. Anastasia and Drizella went up together. They greeted the prince, but his eyes were on someone else behind them. The prince thought Cinderella was the most beautiful lady he had ever seen. The two danced together all night. Cinderella couldn't remember the last time she was this happy. But then the clock sounded. It was midnight. Cinderella had forgotten all about the time. When she ran for the exit, the prince shouted, "I don't even know your name." The Grand Duke ran after Cinderella, but she didn't stop, even though she lost a slipper along the way. The spell wore off when Cinderella was at a safe distance. Everything turned back to normal. But she still had one glass slipper. It reminded her of the wonderful night at the ball. At the palace, the king was very angry that the lady his son loved had gotten away. "Find her!" he yelled. Lady Tremaine heard that the prince was looking for a lady who had lost her glass slipper. So she locked Cinderella in her room. Lady Tremaine had found out Cinderella was the lady the prince was looking for. The Grand Duke arrived and explained that whomever the glass slipper fit perfectly would marry the prince. While the stepsisters tried to fit their big feet into the slipper, Jacques and Gus got the key to Cinderella's room out of Lady Tremaine's pocket. Cinderella came down just as the Grand Duke was about to leave. "Please, wait! May I try it on?" she asked. But as the footman came toward Cinderella, Lady Tremaine tripped him. The glass slipper fell and broke into pieces. Cinderella surprised everyone by taking the other slipper out of her pocket. As Cinderella put on the slipper, the Grand Duke cried, "A perfect fit!" Cinderella and the prince were married. Cinderella was finally happy. The king was happy too. Everyone would live happily ever after.